Sky News recently did a report on a group of around 40 white people who have founded a whites-only community in Arkansas. Apparently, it's a group of millennials and Zoomers who started all of this. It's called Return to the Land. They're thriving, and it's reported they are growing in numbers as well. Now, since then, as you can definitely imagine, there have been a number of people talking about it. Accusations, they've been flying everywhere, and defenses have been posted in response. I'm going to leave all of that behind right now. I want to take a different perspective on this one. Let's go more philosophical. Let's move forward. Let's jump ahead 50 to 100 years in time and speculate. And let me be crystal clear. I'm not here to endorse, like, dislike, or hate anything about this camp. I'm just an impartial observer. I see what's happening, and I can see where this is going. A lot of people have missed the mark on commenting on this too. They're missing the bigger picture. The big picture highlights how this is very relevant to where America is headed in 50 to 100 years. You see, this camp appears to be something of a throwback to the early 19th century, but it's not. This community is organized. They have funding and planning. I watched the whole report on this, but let's look at a small clip just so you know. It's only a little over a minute or so long.
No blacks, no Jews, no gays. High up in the Ozark Hills, in the state of Arkansas, dozens of people have been working hard, building houses and a new type of community. It's called Return to the Land, and it is a town open to white people only. They are millennials and Gen Z, and this is a new update of age-old prejudice.
What we've done here is establish a place where we have control over who our neighbors are, and that is just for the sake of preserving, our culture.
And that culture, effectively, we're saying this is a white culture, a whites-only place.
White American culture.
But what this sounds like is bringing back segregation. Is that a fair assessment?
It's free association. So we're not trying to keep other people down. This is a small settlement in the middle of the Ozarks.
But they are being kept out, even if...
you don't let everyone into your home.
Around 40 people live here. Hundreds more from across the world have paid to be members. And while the men do the physical labour, the women take care of the children who live here full time. It could be a very loving community if you're part of the community, but if you're black, or if you're Jewish, or if you're gay, you can't be part of that community.
They can have their own communities, and they already do.
You might be wondering how any of this can be legal. Return to the Land is structured as a private members association, which they believe allows them to discriminate on the basis of ethnicity, along with other factors. That has yet to be tested in the courts and may well fail.
Times, they have changed. The political scene has changed. And these are millennials and Zoomers putting this thing together. This ain't a bunch of angry boomers with a chip on their shoulder, and this isn't a group of Hell's Angels funding it all with crystal meth. These are 20 and 30-year-olds. This is something altogether different. The leaders of these people are unintentionally sending our country a message right now, too. They're telling everyone that this community is the seed that will likely grow to become one of two different futures for our country. Now, follow my logic for just a couple of minutes here, because I'm going to say some things that you likely don't suspect. It will kind of take a minute for the picture that I'm painting right now to come all together and to focus. What people are missing right now is that America most likely has two distinct futures. There might be other futures as well, but the two most likely are either positive or negative versions of what happens when we mix in AI and quantum processing chip power into our economy. So here's the positive vision. Honestly, I do want to believe in this one too. I hope it becomes a reality, but I'm just too realistic to believe in this. In the positive vision, we become a post-scarcity nation. We no longer need a billionaire class or a competitive economy based on the acquisition of wealth. We no longer have to work for the simple necessities in life. Wouldn't that be nice? Robots take care of surgeries and medical needs. We are healthier than ever. We live to 130 years old or more. Our genes are manipulated prior to birth to eliminate deficiencies. AI runs farms and other sectors of agriculture. Our food is plentiful. Homes are being built in hours instead of weeks or months. Anything else that took time and work to complete is now done in seconds to hours. The nation thrives, and the only thing left is pretty much leisure time and a universal basic income. Now, this is the extreme case, of course. It is much more complex than this, or getting there is much more complex than this. And some people will counter that this will never happen because robots don't have intuition or genuine intelligence. The surgeon, for example, will never be replaced because his years of intuition led him to do things that simply aren't found in the books. But this is nonsense. We live in unique times right now. This is the fourth wave of the Industrial Revolution, where we are now dealing with technology that is smarter than us. We've never created a technology that is smarter than us. Quantum processing chips are taking us to new levels. You might have read about Willow, for example. It's Google's new quantum processing chip. It has experienced some anomalies, but the reality is that they are dealing with it. We are now developing artificial intelligence again that is smarter than us. So, the surgeon with those instincts, his instincts are pretty much now obsolete. They're primitive, as a matter of fact. The AI surgeon who comes in will be able to make moves that our surgeons today haven't even begun to comprehend. And why? Because the AI is powered in a manner that allows for it to see things and perform in a way at the atomic and the subatomic level. That robot will be anticipating atoms moving in ways we can't even begin to imagine. So, this is the positive vision. Everything is in harmony with a technology that is so efficient that it takes care of us better than we can ever imagine for ourselves. Getting back to the whites-only community in Arkansas, in the positive vision, that community wouldn't even be able to exist. It would fail. As a matter of fact, it would be so ass backwards, it would be mocked into oblivion. What good would working with nature be when you have a robot to supply you with everything from nature at the touch of a button? Now, like I said, I would love to believe that humanity's future is all rosy and full of AI taking care of us. But I don't. I believe in something more like a hybrid. I believe in the negative version. And in this version, the white power community we see here is going to be the prototype of all types of other communities that are soon to arise. This is what people are missing when they're commenting on this situation. Now, those communities won't all be about white power, of course, but they will be about their own race and their own purpose, whatever that might be at the time. And they will definitely be tribal. And does this seem extreme right now? It might, but it's not, and I'll explain. In the negative version, almost everything happens the same way as it happened in the positive version. That's almost everything, with one key difference. Yes, we will have all the technological advances that come with quantum processing and chips and robots. Yes, we will have better healthcare, agriculture, homes, and everything else. And it will all come faster than we could ever imagine. But the one massive difference in the negative version is that all this technology is still owned and operated by the billionaire class. All that technology is still something that is bought and paid for in an economy that is still regulated by competition and the acquisition of wealth. Why is that? Because people, regardless of all this technology, we still have human instincts. Instincts that involve things like the 7 deadly sins: greed, envy, sloth, lust, gluttony, wrath, pride. You know them, and others. And the people who have access to AI privileged goods or services that could make them billionaires will not sell it off cheap or give it away. Period. I want to believe that human instincts change with advances in technology. And honestly, I do believe there are people who will change, but those people are few and far between. For the great majority, human nature is pretty much going to remain the same. Now, I know what I'm saying here is incredibly pessimistic to the extreme, but history is full of evidence that the majority doesn't change. Just flip open any history book and find a point where we lived altruistically. I challenge you. because I can't find it. And I know it's just not there unless you have some kind of resources I don't have. I mean, sure, you might be able to heal a disease faster and more efficiently than ever before, but you better be able to afford the incredibly high price tag to have an AI robot heal you. Want food that is grown faster and healthier than ever before? You better have the money. Same with the homes and everything else. It's all going to cost money. Think about what happens during these times, too. This is really the thought experiment right here. Let's pretend we have people with access to AI healthcare that is so efficient that they are living to be 130 to 140 years old, something like that. The number isn't important. They're basically living a heck of a lot longer than everybody else who doesn't have access to that healthcare. They've had their genes cleaned up prior to birth. At 80 years old, these people are basically going to look like they should be 30. Now we have those without AI healthcare walking around and seeing these privileged people. Those without AI healthcare are struck with the reality right in their face. They will live somewhere around 30 to 60 years less because they can't afford it. Think they're not going to be pissed off and rebel? I mean, hell yes, they are. Think the people with AI access are going to sell it cheap? Think the billionaires are going to pass out life longevity like it's candy so that everyone can live long? Oh, hell no, man. The price tag on those things will dwarf even the dumbest of Louis Vuitton bags you see today. And how about food and housing? Those who can afford AI food and housing will have the benefits of that longer life and luxurious home, all tucked away with a price tag out of reach. They will be in communities, and those communities will be exclusive. Again, how long before those without the AI food and without the AI housing start storming the Bastille? It will not take long. What really happens when those who can't afford the AI life see people walking around living 36 years longer than them, glowing with a natural vibrance and health, genes manipulated prior to birth and to perfection, no disease, nothing wrong with them, homes more luxurious than ever, and in places more remote than ever, what really happens then? An even bigger division of the wealthy and the poor than we have now. I'm talking 100 times worse. And then the inevitable civil strife leading to civil separation. Not civil war, but civil separation. People get more tribal and primitive than ever because they are now out for themselves. The Zoomer white power community in Arkansas here, it's going to look civilized compared to what the people will do when they see AI privileged people walking around in 50 to 100 years. So take a look at that white power community again. It's run by millennials and Zoomers. They're tired of globalism and identity politics. In response, they turn to isolationism and their own version of identity politics. What's the common denominator here? It's identity politics or tribalism. When people are faced, and that's all people, Black, white, Asian, I don't care who you are. When people are faced with what they perceive as injustice or some type of danger, they go tribal. In 50 to 100 years, when the perceived injustice is right in front of their face, living 30 to 60 years longer with excellent genes, good health, and a home in a tucked away exclusive community, what do you think is going to happen? And that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. See you in my next one.